Nestle is a company that tries to advertise themselves as family-friendly, but this is a corporation as evil as it can get. Executives have carelessly claimed the lives of thousands of babies. They have purposely exploited mothers and created a deadly monopoly. They're also stealing all the water. You've got that right. Nestle is draining poor countries of their water and stealing from natural sources to resell for profit. Companies like Nestle will be the end of civilization. So let's get into it.
Would you agree with me that your product should not be used where there is impure water?
Let's get into it. Hey everyone, think about classic duos like Batman and Robin or Peanut Butter and Jelly. That's you and Shopify. Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From launching your online shop to hitting 1 million orders, Shopify has you covered. Whether you're selling handcrafted jewelry or tech gadgets, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. With the internet's best converting checkout and AI-powered Shopify magic, turning browsers into buyers has never been easier. Sign up for a $1 per month trial at shopify.com/Sloan. That's shopify.com/Sloan. And enjoy this episode. I think we can all acknowledge that there is plenty of evil in the world, but you probably don't expect it coming from your favorite chocolate milk, which is why we are exposing Nestle. Whenever there's a discussion about the most corrupt and unethical corporations in the world, Nestle always tops the list. Nestle is one of the biggest companies in the world with hundreds of products being sold around the globe. It is no surprise that Nestle dominates the processed and packaged food market, but it does surprise me how corrupt they've been and how they have used different strategies to manipulate people and then exploit them. And it all goes back to 1867, where this man named Henry Nestle decided to begin his company in Switzerland. And the reason why he wanted to start the brand was because he wanted to create a line of milk-based baby formula for babies who are unable to receive breast milk due to a variety of factors, which is revolutionary. I mean, that's a great goal because babies need to get fed. And you guys know there are some people who can't produce breast milk, or like a mother who unfortunately dies when giving birth. I mean, that baby needs to be fed, so this is a great product to come up with. Even though Henry had a great idea of creating this product, his strategies were wrong because Nestle has this operation of creating a problem and then, providing the customer a solution to fix this problem. Like, for example, they got in trouble for trying to discourage breastfeeding. We go from this man trying to create this company based on a product that can solve a lot of problems to them then creating this product and then trying to create problems so that they could sell more. We really saw this play out in the 1970s because Nestle discouraged breastfeeding to push their formula as a superior option.
For your special baby. More than 50 million babies have been raised on this form of milk.
This actually triggered a widespread boycott of Nestle goods, which eventually extended to Europe. The boycott went on from 1977 through 1984, when Nestle then agreed to follow an international marketing code by the WHO. So these manipulation tactics that Nestle was using around baby formula was way beyond the US. The entire world was starting to be convinced that their baby needed baby formula to be superior. So Nestle began advertising baby formula as superior to breast milk, attempting to manipulate customers by spreading this narrative that's not correct. They even bribed medical specialists to testify on their behalf. So they're paying these people who are supposed to be educated and qualified to lie to the public to try to prove that their formula is better than the natural thing. Their ad campaigns encourage mothers to replace breast milk with baby formula. The most horrible thing that Nestle did was hire saleswomen in developing regions of Asia and Africa and send them to give medical advice to mothers there and free samples of this baby formula. So trying to go to third world countries and trying to create this basis that baby formula is normalized. Even if the formula is only dried milk, vegetable oils, and sugars, the key factor is the company's marketing, which led to people feeling that the formula was essential for their baby to grow healthy and well. People actually started to believe that breast milk wasn't even sufficient when the evidence shows otherwise. And now we've got babies who are malnutritioned because they are only drinking this crap that Nestle is pushing. Nestle even went as far as to pay doctors to convince mothers that formula was more nutritional than breast milk. And the formula actually had no nutritional value. It was pretty much sugar water, so really not great for a baby to consume, especially back then because formula wasn't as advanced as it is nowadays. In an attempt to make more money, Nestle started expanding their client market. Instead of just selling to mothers who couldn't breastfeed, they started targeting uneducated mothers who could breastfeed. And their goal was to convince these women that their formula, their sugar powder, would do their babies much better. It kind of reminds me of how the drug market manipulates people. They go to doctors and convince doctors to prescribe these medications, and it's all just a false narrative to make money. They hired nurses to visit these mothers and give them samples of the formula. And what's disturbing about these formulas is that they lasted long enough that the mother's milk would dry up. So they would give them enough formula to feed their baby, but then the mom realizes, oh my gosh, I've lost my ability to produce milk, so now they're dependent on it. And their goal was to lead the mother to her milk drying up and the baby getting dependent on this formula. The company's horrible PR stunt led to thousands of infant deaths as the mothers were swapping Nestle's baby formula for breast milk. This left the children deficient in the necessary nutrients that breast milk would provide. So again, like, formula nowadays is far more advanced. This is way early on to when babies are now being led to sickness, starvation, and the mom can't do anything about it because their breast milk is gone. It sounds like a living hell. The worst impact was in those undeveloped regions of the world where mothers were diluting the formula with more water to save money and were unknowingly starving their children. Breast milk provides all the elements vital for development of the baby and its immune system. With a lack of natural milk, the babies from underdeveloped regions with no access to clean water suffered from many diseases and died. And that's all Nestle's fault.
When promoting their product, Nestle did not consider these families' long-term ability to afford the formula. One Jamaican mother claimed that not only was she feeding 2 babies with the contents of 1 canister of formula, she was watering it down so much that it could provide 3 times as many servings than recommended. Children who were fed the diluted formula were not receiving nearly enough nutrients, which was leading to severe malnutrition. An estimated 1 million children were dying from conditions related to formula feeding every year.
That is disturbing. I mean, I feel like the people responsible should be put in court for the deaths of these babies. The formula was even named the baby killer by media. When the situation got worse and people started getting mad about this and protesting, that's when the WHO, the World Health Organization, stepped in. The company, often criticized as Nestle is evil, tried to clear their name and started mentioning in their advertisements that breast milk cannot be replaced. But at that point, the damage had been done, and people were starting to put out ads out there against Nestle, calling it this baby killer, which of course no mother wants to give their baby this formula when it's involved in so much controversy. So is it worth it? It also reminds me that I don't think Henry Nestle, like the guy that started this brand, wanted it to become this. I think he wanted to create a product to fill a void, to save children, not to kill them. Babies are so fragile, they're so vulnerable, and there's so much misinformation surrounding this campaign. Mothers who lived in countries with polluted water would give their babies the formula with water, and they were not taught to boil the water in order to keep their babies safe. Nestle took no responsibility with this. They claimed they provide the mothers with written instructions, but that means nothing for mothers in undeveloped countries who couldn't read at all. Let alone, I'm sure these instructions aren't translated to their language, so they're left without any information, and they're told that their baby needs this formula to thrive. Sadly, many families couldn't afford the baby formula. Plus, I also question, if they went to these underdeveloped countries, does that mean they came with a bunch of stock to go and stock up these stores? I mean, the whole plan doesn't sound like it was thought through at all.
Would you agree with me that your product should not be used where there is impure water? Yes or no?
We give all the instructions.
Just answer. What is your position?
Of course not, but we cannot cope with that. We can't have that responsibility, sir. May I make a reference to...
You can't have that responsibility?
No.
I feel like that scenario is so disturbing because in that moment, there are babies who are suffering, and this man is just trying to do his job for a big paycheck and to protect the corporation. It reminds me of a lot of modern day corporations who are taking advantage of us day to day. But after people were outraged, the World Health Organization made it law that companies are no longer allowed to compare formula to breast milk. So Nestle decided instead of improving their product and making it more nutritious, they started pushing more sales in underdeveloped countries that had less restriction. So instead of follow these guidelines that you were just given, go to these underdeveloped countries that haven't heard the news yet and try to get some last minute sales.
Babies' lives are at greater risk because of the aggressive marketing tactics deployed by the formula milk industry.
Major players in the industry are actually violating laws in the Philippines, offering free trips to doctors and midwives, handing out pamphlets in hospitals that look like medical advice.
It's so sad to me because I feel like developed countries should assist in underdeveloped countries, not go there and try to make them worse. Because of this, Nestle has been able to maintain that baby formula is okay. They've been able to, I guess, as far as society goes, like maintain a presence in the market, though they have not done this ethically. I mean, we've talked about the marketing strategies, but they've also done some child labor as well. Hey everyone, ever think about iconic duos like Batman and Robin or peanut butter and jelly? How about you and Shopify? Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business journey. From launching your online shop stage to the "did we just hit 1 million orders" stage, Shopify is there to help you grow. Whether you're selling handcrafted jewelry, tech gadgets, or organic skincare, Shopify helps you sell everywhere with an all-in-one e-commerce platform and an in-person POS system. With the internet's best converting checkout, you can turn browsers into buyers with up to 36% better conversion rates compared to other platforms. Thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star, you'll sell more with less effort. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US and supports millions of entrepreneurs across 175 countries. If you want to elevate your business and change your life, you won't want to miss out on this deal. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Sloan. Go to shopify.com/Sloan now. Thank you, Shopify, and enjoy this episode. During the 2000s, the company was accused of using child labor to produce chocolate for their chocolate products. When this was exposed, Nestle claimed to get rid of this problem and create ethically correct products by the year of 2005, but this has not really changed. Nestle claims that they're not responsible for unpaid child labor because the child labor that's occurring typically happens on the parent's farm. So what Nestle does is that they underpay, I'm sure they underpay farmers to go and produce like chocolate or other products for their processed food. And in this process, these families are working their children, maybe other children on this farm to produce it, and the children aren't getting paid. But Nestle claims they're not responsible for that because they're hiring the farmer. So the farmer's responsible for who's working on the farm, which maybe on paper they're not technically responsible, but they are. It's like a roundabout way to use children labor. The farmers that Nestle hire cannot afford school and need all the working hands possible to afford food, shelter, and other necessities. Because Nestle isn't paying the farmers enough, they have to struggle and then force their children to go and work. So instead of Nestle paying them what they should be paid, they are forced into this situation, and Nestle's okay with it. They tried to improve their image by including fair trade marks on their labels to showcase that the chocolate bars are made with ethically sourced chocolate, cocoa. But it didn't solve the math problem, which was it's illegal to use child labor. They still have farms and plants where forced child labor is taking place, but they haven't done much about it, and they haven't ever showed us proof that their chocolate is ethically sourced. As recently as 2021, Nestle was sued by 8 former child slaves for aiding and abetting the illegal enslavement of thousands of children on these cocoa farms. So this problem hasn't gone away. They claim in 2005 that it was done, but in 2021, they're sued by thousands of children who are enslaved at these farms. I mean, imagine these farms in the middle of like really nowhere and underdeveloped countries where these kids are just being housed there and forced to work every single day.
The U.S. Supreme Court is set to decide whether 2 of the world's largest chocolate companies can be held responsible for human rights abuses on cocoa farms in Western Africa. 6 Malians forced to work on Ivory Coast cocoa farms as children are suing Nestle USA and privately held food corporation Cargill. They say they worked 14-hour days with little food and were beaten. They allege Nestle and Cargill knew about the conditions on the farms and that they provided the owners with financial help.
Nestle is accused of trying to cover up their child labor by actively misleading the public, promising to phase out child labor by 2005, but then mentioning again in 2020 that it's still a problem. And litigation is still ongoing, so we need to keep an eye on Nestle and what they're doing, because I don't want to support a company that's enslaving children. One thing that I find really disturbing about Nestle is that they provide us a lot of products that we need to live. Like, for example, water, bottled water, which actually this one is not Nestle, I don't believe. It says that it's produced in Texas. I'm in Houston, Texas actually right now. But Nestle is also one of the leading producers of packaged water bottles. The bottles are packaged with single-use plastic, leading to pollution of the environment and killing millions of sea creatures. According to several reports, during beach cleanings, most of the plastic bottles collected are Nestle brands. So Nestle's not only killing babies, but they're killing our planet as well, because their products are not designed to help the earth. They're here to hurt it. And of course, Nestle isn't going to do anything to change that. I mean, I think we've seen like the boxed water bottles. We've seen those really annoying paper straws, but honestly, I'll take a soggy straw any day if it helps a sea turtle, you know? This article writes, no matter what fancy pictures of springs, lakes, and mountains the labels have, almost all the water in the packaged bottles of the Nestle Evil Company is from the ground. Nestle's Evil Company is blamed for exploiting the groundwater of many areas where the public needs it the most and selling it for their profit. So Nestle might claim that their spring water comes from this peaceful spring, you know, in Pennsylvania or maybe in Canada. But it's not true. Their practices are unethical and dangerous for the environment. And I'm not saying I'm over here like all perfect. I got my plastic water bottle right here. But the company is guilty of taking water sources from countries where people are forced to drink dirty water instead, essentially taking fresh water from places that really need it. In 2013, the corporation began diverting abundant clean water from Pakistan locals and using it for their factories, leaving the population with no other choice but to drink sewage and sludge water, not only in Pakistan, but in a bunch of different countries. I mean, imagine wherever you are right now, comfortably living, you turn your sink. Imagine if the sink just didn't turn on and then there was no more water because this company came in and took it all away. And now you got to drink what, your own pee water at that point. I mean, it's really sad. And like, oh God, it makes you like wish that there was some force out there that could stop this. Like, that's where I guess the World Health Organization comes in. But even when they give Nestle rules, Nestle's not going to follow them. And can the WHO, can they do anything? They can't go and arrest Nestle, the company. So there's no accountability here. And of course, Nestle doesn't want to take the blame, so they'll just point the fingers at someone else, like some, you know, chocolate farmers who have no money and can't defend themselves. This article reads, the plastic bottles are damaging the environment, and the waste generated by the company's factories is causing irreversible damage to the environment and marine life, which I love the ocean. Please don't mess with our marine life. In 2020, a Nestle milk powder plant in France released its biological waste into the local water bodies, killing around 3 metric tons of fish. What? Like, who decides, yeah, we're just gonna like let all this trash and disgustingness out into the lake, the river, wherever? I mean, without considering anything? According to the latest reports from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, the company Nestle has done nothing and made zero progress in the environmentally safe sector and has not addressed the waste that they are generating at all. So of course, they're not going to put out any like initiative that they're going to try to, you know, do better about the environment. They're not modernizing in any ways. They're trying to cut corners and give us the lowest grade product at the lowest price. They've also been accused of filling water bottles with tap water and reselling it. Actually, Nestle was sued again for falsely representing bottled tap water as naturally sourced spring water. So these mountains that you're seeing, these pictures where the water's supposedly coming from, it's not coming from there, it's coming from the ground. And if it's not coming from the ground, it's coming from the pipes. So you might as well just open up your sink and get the same thing.
For one tanker load, Nestle pays $10. Once bottled, the same water costs $50,000.
The water situation really scares me because I feel like if we ever have a world war again, even though it feels like, oh God, knock on wood, like, please, I hope we don't have one in my lifetime or ever again, to be honest. But I feel like if we were to, it's going to be the day when water runs out. And these countries like Pakistan and other areas that are being drained are the first examples of how it's going to go down. It's going to be companies like Nestle pulling it all away from the poor areas until the rich areas have it, and then we run out and there's like a nuclear war over water. It looks like audits also discovered that the company was exploiting natural water sources without paying for them. So they're going to these places where, you know, fish live, and the bear drink water, and the deer drink water, and, you know, where the environment is, and they just go and they drain it dry before anyone realizes, and they get out of there so they don't get in trouble. So Nestle baby formula, problematic. Water and waste, super problematic. And they've also had issues with their products. In 2009, the FDA and CDC issued a cautionary statement telling consumers to avoid Nestle Toll House refrigerated cookie dough due to E. coli, which of course Nestle wasn't happy about them issuing this statement. The cookie dough contamination resulted in hospitalizations and tragically killed one person. Nestle responded by expressing grave concern, acknowledging their product's implications in the illness and fatality, and subsequently implementing more rigorous testing and inspection procedures. Okay, well, I'll believe it when I see it. That wasn't the first time that their products had killed people. In 2008, Nestle faced the Chinese milk scandal, where their products were linked to 6 infant deaths and numerous hospitalizations due to melamine contamination. Despite Nestle denying all of this, the Chinese government was able to find traces of it in their products, prompting Nestle to dispatch specialists from Switzerland to enhance chemical testing at the 5 Chinese plants. The incident became a major global food safety concern, with China reporting over 300,000 victims, resulting in several legal consequences, including executions and life sentences for those implicated. You guys know the Chinese government does not play. I would not want to get in trouble with them. So people who were involved in the Nestle situation, they were excommunicated. I mean, that's how the justice system works in other countries. Remember, when you guys are shopping and looking for new products, you cannot rely on the labeling, especially when it comes to Nestle, because they try to present themselves as a wellness company. Yet they're the ones who are promoting some of the most unhealthy foods. UK Consumers Association revealed that 7 out of the top 15 high sugar, fat, and salt breakfast cereals were Nestle products. So you are waking up in the morning, you want your cereal, which is probably not good for you, and Nestle knows this. In addition to concerns about unhealthy food, Nestle faced accusations of deceptive practices in Colombia back in 2002. The company was ordered by the police to decommission 320 tons of imported powder milk because of false relabeling, which included a different local brand and altered production dates. Wow, that's unethical, and it raises legal issues because you're going to say that the product came from somewhere else, it's a different brand, and you're going to alter the dates. I mean, why does anyone think they can get away with this? That's why I'm happy to talk about this story on my channel, because I think it's important for us to be aware of the products we're consuming. I mean, I don't really want any Nestle after this. I am sure not giving my baby any damn Nestle. I don't have a baby right now. This is my baby reveal. Definitely not giving my baby any Nestle products, but yeah, that's just me. It's really cold in this hotel room, so I have one of these like hotel blankets. Look how stiff it is. I'm not complaining though. I'd rather have it than not have it. I'm about to go home tomorrow. I know you guys are probably, why are you in this hotel room? I was in a hotel room in Nashville, now I'm in Houston, but I'm going back to LA. My parents are actually gonna come visit me, so I'm gonna go and spend time with them, but I'll be around. I'll be checking in with you guys. And I actually scraped my face. Can you see it? It's like on this side, I think. I scraped my face on the bottom of the pool. I was playing too hard at the pool. When I get in the pool, I like to play. I like to flip. I like to, you know, jump, splash. You don't want to be in the pool when I'm in the pool because I like to play. So I played a little too hard. I got scraped on my face. I also got a really brutal scrape like on my, at least I didn't knock my teeth out. That's all I'm happy. But like, do you see the red? Maybe you can't really see it, but and this shirt is too tight too. I know, people, I'm a mess. But if you have any other video ideas, maybe similar to this one, maybe completely different, email me at sloanunknown@gmail.com, and I'll see you in a new video soon. Bye guys.